Hello and welcome back to the Irish Barista Championships 2025 here in Bewley's on Grafton Street. A big thank you to our grinder sponsor today, Anfin. Our next competitor is ready to go, so if we can please get a big round of applause to welcome our judges back into the room. Got Renata, Zuza, Benny, Hanya, Erasmus, Gosia, Mariusz, and Bailey. Fantastic, welcome judges. So our next competitor is Ian Kissick of Formative Coffee. The floor is yours. Please shout time when you are ready.
Thank you. Just my music first, please. Okay, all ready? Great. We'll ease into things. Time. Technology is changing the way we live our lives and the way we do business. And coffee is no exception to this. So today, the theme that I'd like us to explore together is how we can use technology to create exemplary coffee experiences. And we can begin by looking at customer experience. See, we can use technology to create more immersive environments for our guests, drawing them deeper into their journey with coffee, which is why I built this table with its 4 embedded displays that will act as a helpful guide through our time together. And you'll see on there that your order for today has already come through. We'll start with your espresso course, then milk drink, then sig drink, using 2 different coffees, but we can start by focusing in on the coffee that will be on screen for you in a moment. And this is a naturally processed geisha, an exemplary example of Panamanian geisha, produced in the Cherokee region at Finca Mi Finquita by Radibor and Tessie Hartman. Now we expect from Panamanian geishas florality. And this coffee delivers with notes of white florals on our espressos. And that high altitude, as you'll see on screen, of Mi Finquita, between 1,650 and 1,900 meters above sea level, means a slower maturation of the cherry, leading to more complex sugar, carbohydrate, and lipid development, and overall, more complexity in the cup. So complexity and florality, these are 2 elements I'd like to preserve while roasting. I chose to roast this coffee on a Roast L100 Plus because of its built-in automatic AI-based crack detection system, which made it really easy for me roast after roast to achieve a uniform development time ratio. And you can see all of my roast information there on screen in front of you. My target DTR was 14.8%, chosen because that's where I perceived the most complexity and florality in the cup. I also used a relatively short total roast time of 4.5 minutes to extend the glass transition phase, increasing porosity and solubility without sacrificing clarity or texture. Now, if we've sourced exceptional coffee and we've roasted it well, the next step is, of course, brewing. For espressos, I'm using a 18-gram dose, a 36-gram yield, and a contact time of 30 seconds. It's a recipe which is designed to maintain balance while maximizing sweetness. And I've realized over the past 8 years of working with baristas that one of the things they struggle most with when brewing is understanding how roasting coffee and resting roasted coffee can affect peak flavor potential. You see, different roasting machines and different roasting methodologies have big impacts on how a coffee degasses and therefore the optimal brew time post-roast. So I've been working to use technology to create a simple solution to this complex problem, which I'd love to share with you today. Now, as you can see on screen, we can place roasted coffee inside a sealed container with a CO2 monitor. When we adjust for other variables, this gives us a good proxy for the degassing phase. And this is interesting, and you can see the degassing chart for my coffee roasted like this on the left-hand side there. But it becomes particularly valuable when we add in sensory information. So my team and I cup this coffee and 14 others just like it for 3 weeks post-roast every 12 hours, looking particularly at flavor intensity. And what we found was that for coffees roasted like this, flavor intensity peaks between 8 and 36 hours after the CO2 release stabilization point. That's the point on your screens there, where that graph starts to level out, and it's marked on there. So I brought this coffee to you at its peak flavor intensity at 98 hours post-roast, I'd love to explain to you what you can expect as a result of this. Now, all your flavor information will be on screen in front of you. Just a moment. There we go. So for the flavor notes, you can expect white florals, pineapple, raspberry, and pink grapefruit. And on the aftertaste, Assam tea. Meanwhile, for your tactile, the weight will be medium to low, and the texture will be silky and juicy. Now, judges, I'd ask that once I've served these espressos to you, you stir front to back 3 times with one of your clean spoons, and you can put the used spoon in the empty green glass in front of you. Remember, all that sensory information is on screen in front of you if you need it. I'll give you about 50 seconds to evaluate your espresso course before we move on to our milk beverage. There you go. Thank you. All right. Thank you. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, judges, another 20 seconds on the espressos there. Okay. Now for our milk course, we're using a different coffee. This time from the Antioquia region of Colombia, produced at Finca Jaraguao. Now here, the pink Bourbon varietal, combined with its wash thermal shock process, delivers us espressos which have tropical fruit characteristics, some citrus fruit, and a lactic character as well. Now, I've roasted that coffee with an 18% development time ratio to maximize solubility, and I'm brewing with an 18-gram dose, a 36-gram yield, and a contact time of 29 seconds, as that's where I perceive the most flavor intensity. Each of those single espressos are paired with 45 grams of my chosen milk, where I've found the most harmonious balance between these two ingredients. And the milk that I've chosen is a result of 3 years of experimentation. You see, back in 2023, my team and I began tasting 186 different coffees as espresso, and then in combination with 16 milk bases. We described and scored each of those beverages in a similar way to how you're doing today, and used that data to train a basic but powerful machine learning model that helps us predict the optimal milk for any given espresso. Now, on screen in front of you, you can see the result of this. On the left-hand side, you see my description of this coffee as an espresso, while on the right, you'll see the application's recommended milk for that espresso. Now, this still requires a barista to actually test out and taste, use their own common sense and sensory skill, but it's a good first step towards creating exceptional milk beverages, aiding baristas in what they do. So the milk that was recommended and the milk which I tested and found worked really well is a blend. 70% is freeze-distilled minor figures oat milk, which I freeze-distilled at 45% of its original volume. The other 30% is a high-fat Jersey Herds milk. Now, overall, this gives us a milk which is high in fat and sugar, bringing us balanced milk beverages. I've steamed it to 55 degrees Celsius, resulting in a drinking temperature for you of 48 degrees Celsius, where I perceive the most sweetness. And I'd ask that whenever I serve these beverages to you, you stir in a circular motion with your remaining spoon 3 times, and you can put your used spoon in the green glass in front of you again. Now, what can we expect from these milk beverages? Well, again, you'll find all of the sensory information on screen in front of you. Please wait until I finish before you evaluate. So we'll have apricots, marzipan, hints of salted caramel, and pain au raisin. And on the aftertaste, milk chocolate. Now, once you've noted all that down, judges, you can go ahead and begin your evaluation. Thank you. So far, judges, we've seen the impact of technology on creating exceptional coffee experiences for our guests, which are immersive. There you go, thank you. On roasting more consistently, on understanding how resting roasted coffee can affect peak flavor, and now on crafting exemplary milk beverages. In our final course, we'll consider one further application of technology, and then we'll reflect more broadly on its implications on our industry. Thank you. Judges, another 20 seconds on those milk beverages. Now let's come back together for our signature drink. Now for our signature drink, I trained an AI using all of the sensory research and data that I could find. We then worked together to create a new, repeatable framework for crafting exceptional espresso-based signature beverages. I'd love to share that framework with you today, and it is completely reliant on the coffee, which I'm sharing here today. This is the Pink Bourbon again, and it's going to bring us to 3 pillars of our signature drink framework. Firstly, aroma. Here we have an aroma in the espresso of stone fruit and florals. Secondly, tactile. Here we have a medium weight for this coffee and a silky texture. And thirdly, flavor. We have mandarin, passion fruit, and that lactic characteristic I described in the milk drink. So the first part of our framework then is aroma. And here we're looking to reinforce aroma, and you'll find all this information on the screens, using ingredients that share the same aromatic compounds rather than just introducing new ones. So I found peach was an ideal addition because it shared the same levels of the key fruit floral monoterpenes, linalool and geraniol as the underlying espresso. So, as you can see, we took 500 grams of peaches and blended together with 1 gram of pectin X, that's an enzyme that breaks down fruit fibers, and 150 grams of sugar. We blend for 10 minutes, then strain through a paper filter, and we'll set that aside. Now that will be added in as part of another ingredient that we'll explain in a minute, and it transforms the aroma, but we perceive this as a flavor transformation because the drink is perceived cool. And it transforms that mandarin flavor I described into a new flavor of blood orange. Now tactile, that's the second part, as you can see on screen. Here we're looking to modulate the underlying microstructures of the drink without necessarily introducing flavor. So we basically take weight as an input and then make different decisions. You can see that on screen, but when the weight is medium, here we choose to fat wash. Now I chose to fat wash that peach ingredient from the first part with brown butter. I wanted to fat wash the peach so that it would carry through more of those delicate aromatics. I chose brown butter because of those lactic characteristics in the espresso. To make brown butter, we melt unsalted butter in a pan over a medium heat until brown specks form. And then we combine parts 1 and 2 by taking 300 grams of that peach liquid, 100 grams of brown butter, mixing well, we pop it in the fridge, and then after 12 hours, we can take it out, remove the fat layer, and strain through a paper filter. Now we introduce here 80 grams of that peach juice, which has been fat washed by brown butter. And as I mentioned, it brings us that new flavor note interacting with the espresso of blood orange. But the brown butter also serves to introduce lipids, which act as micro lubricants aiding texture, and the final texture for this drink is silky and juicy. Now the last ingredient here is 15 grams of coconut orgeat. Now in our framework, what we're looking to do is introduce contrasting flavors. And we use another AI-based tool called flavonomics to determine contrasting flavors. It uses sensory science backed up by machine learning to give us potential contrasting complementary flavors for any given flavor. So I gave it my description of this as an espresso, and it gave me a list of contrasting flavors. I picked coconut because it transforms that note of passion fruit into pineapple to bring me synergy between the espresso course and our signature drink course. So we move from passion fruit into pineapple through the addition of that 15 grams of coconut orgeat, which we make by roasting 100 grams of coconut flakes at 100 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes, then mixing together with 1 liter of room temperature water for 24 hours, then blending, and then straining. Now we mix together in the hyper chiller and serve in these glasses with 60 grams of ice, which serves to, highlight flavor clarity through dilution and brings our drinking temperature to 8 degrees Celsius, where I perceive the most intensity. I'd ask that you wait until I call time and then take 2 large sips to enjoy. Now, our sensory information, again, is all on screen in front of you. We'll have pineapple, blood orange, stone fruit, and hints of dark chocolate. Time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ian. If I could just get you to come and have a quick chat with me, just here for me. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So I believe this is your 7th Barista Championships in 8 years of competing.
Something like that.
You must really
I've lost count.
love the experience or thrive off stress.
That's it.
Yeah. Is there any part of the experience that's your particular favorite, any round? Or?
I love espressos in particular, because I think that at this level of competition, the coffees that we get to play with and examine in real intricate detail as espresso, it's a whole other level, even to working in a cafe with high-end espresso. You could spend weeks or potentially months preparing for competitions and tasting 100 versions of coffee as espresso, and they're all great, but picking between minute details is quite fun.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Is there anyone you would like to thank today?
Just my Nick. Yeah.
Adorable. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much. Can we get another round of applause, please? Fantastic. And we will be back soon with the next competitor.